Imagine this. Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here it goes. Freedom Light.
You are listening to Panties and Sports. This is DizzieMac here with our First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith, and joined by the always lovely Shimmy Shea girls. And today our panel includes the illustrious Art Chou from St. Louis, Summer Lou with Nelly, and have my friend, my partner, the handicapper, Big Doug Palmer. All right.
Happy morning from Seattle.
Oh, hey, wait, Seattle, C-Town. Well, First Lady, we got the panel ready. The Shimmy Shea girls are filling up glasses of mimosa. Over to you for what you saying.
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you say? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Derrick Rose wishes he could fly far, and I mean far away from allegations that a woman he dated was drugged and gang raped by him and some friends. Talk about a relationship gone sour. Given the conviction of a certain NFL player for drugging and raping women and allegations against a certain famous comedian, should we no longer give athletes or famous people in his position the benefit of the doubt? Should the NBA suspend D. Rose until after the legal matters are cleared? Is it open season on superstars, especially when it comes to being accused of sexual misconduct? Is it time for superstars to make better choices about who they are sleeping with? Is it better to get a dog? Warren Sapp, Lawrence Taylor, O.J. Simpson, and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, let me just start this off, because rape is a heinous crime, and no woman or man should have to go through rape. However, to be wrongfully accused somebody of rape is also a serious crime. And many people's reputation cannot recover from these type of accusations. Now, when I heard about this case, DizzieMac and everybody, I just said part of it could be believable. I mean, it is quite plausible that D. Rose could have raped the girl in his mansion. However, the part about Rose and his friends tracking her down, going to her place and breaking into her place to rape her, to me, is just unbelievable. I'm sorry, I can't believe that. I mean, we are talking about very famous people here. We're talking about an NBA star, a superstar. He doesn't have to chase after women for sex. I mean, groupies flock to him. So I really have a hard time believing this young woman's story. And if she were raped, she should have gone to the ER. She should have done a rape kit. Then her story would be more believable. But why would you wait 2 years to bring it up now? And it appears to me that she's taken advantage of the situation with Bill Cosby to try to get some money out of D. Rose. And I really think, he will be found innocent. And he actually, as a matter of fact, he says he will definitely be found innocent. And the NBA should not suspend him at this point in time because, number one, anyway, it's a civil case. It's not a criminal case. There was never any charges brought against D. Rose regarding this. He was never indicted about any crime regarding this situation. So I don't even think if he's even found guilty in the civil court, whether or not they could suspend him. Again, because like I said, there was never a crime. Athletes, they have to make better choices because there are gold diggers out there, but these players are never going to make good choices because, they're always going to have issues and be in predicaments that's going to cost him money and possible shame like something like this. Because I don't care what anybody says. If D. Rose is found not guilty, it's still going to be a stain on his reputation. And so players really need to make sure that they don't put themselves in these type of predicaments. And whether or not they need to get a dog or not, please. They just need to make sure that they surround themselves with people that are reputable and just make sure that they find the right person to have a relationship. All right, Art, what are you saying about this?
I'm with you, First Lady. I'm with you. I'm dubious. It's questionable to me because with the athletes, first of all, if it is true, he shouldn't be suspended for misconduct. He should be suspended for stupidity. I mean, I had a chance to stay at the hotel once when I was in Philly when the Lakers were in town back when was the Magic Johnson era. And if you ever go into the hotel where the pro teams are staying, where the pro players are, and see all the women there, it is I guess it's what Tom Cruise and Top Gun called a target-rich environment. So to have anything going on like that when they have all that laying in front of them is I'm dubious. I don't think it happened either.
Yeah, it is questionable, very questionable. Big Doug, what are you saying out of Seattle out there? I know you have a lot to say about this.
Well, I'm agreeing with you a little bit there, First Lady. It is a dubious type case, but I think when the Bill Cosby stuff started, that nobody would believe people from 25 years ago are now showing up and declaring that what's happened to them. So I think the possibility of a lot of time passing because people just are afraid they can't go up against a big time superstar in whatever NBA, NFL, or the comedy club scene. So I think that there is a possibility of that. But yeah, it's got a lot of holes in it, and like you said, it's not a legal case. It could seem like somebody's just going after money. So I think he's going to have a pretty good chance of winning this. But I think it's still a possibility because a lot of times women do get traumatized. They don't want to go make it public and show up in court and basically be embarrassed. Because always the defense attorneys are going to go after them and their reputation, and that's never going to be good, a situation potentially for the woman. So I think you have to sometimes give them a little bit of a break in that direction as well. But some folks just are trying to get money. And I think the athletes need to learn they can't be the Wilt Chamberlains of the world anymore. You can't have 20,000 women without a few of them going to be making problems for you. So I think I was listening to the radio the other day, and there's apps out there that people can put a thumbprint on that somewhat says that there's a consensual sex and things like that. So I think athletes or anybody who's famous needs to really think in those terms of having something there. It's not very romantic, it's not very sexy, but it can save your hind end if somebody comes up and says I was raped and affect your reputation. So I think there's a lot of lessons out there to learn from this, and we've seen so many of it. It almost seems like people are trying to top the last case that we've heard about. So haven't heard the word gang rape yet, I don't think, in a lot of these cases that we've been seeing, and now we have that word, which really has a bad connotation to it. So I think the athletes need to learn. You need to really pick your partners much better, or protect yourself with some sort of document or whatever else, and just be very careful who you pick to have sex with.
All right, you talk about an app out there to protect them. I mean, technology has changed, definitely.
I didn't believe it either, but I heard it on sports radio yesterday. So.
All right, DizzieMac. Now I know the Shimmy Shake girls have seen D. Rose around Chicago.
Oh yeah.
I know. So I know. I mean, come on, DizzieMac.
Man, First Lady, this is unfortunate incident. I mean, great young man in a situation where, hey, it's just going to have to play out. He's going to have to take the time, painstakingly as it may be, to let the process exonerate him, hopefully in this situation, because, again, as everybody said, this is a case of things just going wrong. You know, you picking your partners unwisely. People looking to come up off your fame and fortune. Bad judgment by the athlete doing things that, hey, shouldn't be done. When you talking drugs, alcohol, that's not a good mix, and that's not a good look if you're accused of doing things that take advantage of people who are intoxicated, who are under the influence, who can't really do anything for themselves because they got so blasted. But you just never know. You just never know when you're out here. Athletes, I mean, this is even more of a wake-up call that you have to truly look at, what am I doing? I mean, I know that athletes are people too, but even people have to make better judgment, better calls on this. Because, wow, this has got
the host has joined the conference.
This has just got the whole city paralyzed. What's going to happen to our point guard if he can't play? What's going to happen if he gets suspended? What happens to his brand and legacy? Athletes need to wake up. They need to wake up. They got brands and legacies they have to protect by all means necessary.
Yeah, you got that right, DizzieMac. So, I mean, it's sad about D. Rose. You know, he says he is innocent and he will be found innocent. So
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
All right, over to you, DizzieMac.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers, putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion. Overpowered. Over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking shot, but I without these lyrics gonna make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest of it. I'll get you sliced and diced. Competition paying up price. I'm gonna knock you out. Huh? Mama said knock you out. Huh? We are not talking about Marco Antonio Ferreira, Oscar De La Hoya, or Ricardo Lopez. We're talking about a knockout punch that might be waiting for RG3. After reports that several of the offensive linemen don't like him. If the big boys, whose job is to protect you, don't like you, that could be a big problem, Washington. Is the offensive line playing a little less intense when RG3 is in the game? Should RG3 buy them all Subway sandwiches? Ooh. Is it time for RG3 to have a mystery injury and sit out the season in hopes of getting traded or cut? It's Coach Gruden secretly fueling the fire by keeping him in as the starter. Anthony Munoz, John Hanna, Bruce Matthews, and Randall McDaniel are asking, what you saying? Well, definitely none of them would ever shirk on their responsibilities for blocking for the quarterback. Top notch, all of those lines. Well, on any team, you know, players don't like each other for some reason or another. Players just don't like each other. Even on the same side of the ball, they don't like each other. This is a further example of a team that's fractured. You got some players that want RG3 as a starter. Have you done enough? Is he healthy enough? Can he do the job? I don't know. That's what they're thinking. Then you have some who say, hey, we're riding with the best player at the position, which is RG3. So definitely it's going to be tough. But, hey, this is one team. Coach Gruden has got to get the team together. No matter who I pick as the starter, you got to block. We will not sacrifice anybody's health because you don't like somebody, you don't like their braids, you don't like their dreadlocks, you don't like their whatever it is, their Superman socks. This is going to be a circus because until they get somebody entrenched as the starter and win some games, that's the only thing that's going to quiet this down. Winning kills all in the NFL. Just watch. But if you lose, just watch RG3's backside. It's gonna be the door gonna be wide open. It's gonna be left wide open for somebody to run in there and take a shot. I wonder which linemen don't like RG3. Big Doug, you got a clue?
I don't think any of them likes him. So if he goes out and buys some Subway sandwiches, I don't think they're going to be very happy with him either. He needs to take his offensive line out to the best restaurant in Washington and run a bill up, and then just sit back and have a big talk and have a nice little discussion going on about what's good and what's bad about him, and get it all out in the line. So there's no doubt the line was not blocking for him as well as Kirk Cousins or Colt McCoy last week. I mean, RG3 was getting hit every time he went back to pass, whether it was called a sack or not. He was getting beat up, and I honestly think he might have a mystery injury right now, because I'm not really sure if he's really got that bad of concussion or not, because that last hit he got most certainly wasn't one that could produce a concussion, but some of the other ones he had maybe. But and I think Gruden's living off his brother's name. He's not really showing that he's a great leader if he's leading them out there just to get beat up and to learn a lesson, because that's definitely a $1 million lesson that they're learning. If they're out there just try to get him hurt. So I think it's a really bad situation there. I think RG3, he still talks too much right now. He needs to go out in the field and prove himself, and that's going to quiet the most voices and make the linemen, start playing. If you complete on those passes and move the team down the field, then they're going to start respecting you more, whether they like you or not. It's whether you get respect from them or not. They're going to protect somebody they respect, whether they don't like them or not. But they're not going to block for somebody they don't respect. They don't care if you get hurt or not. I think it's just a huge bad situation there, and it might be a good thing if RG3 can get traded somewhere like we were talking last week. Cleveland might be a good spot since Johnny Manziel can't throw anymore already. So I think he just needs to get out of there and start over somewhere else. It's going to be best for his career, or he's just going to need to make a total 180 change right now and become a different quarterback and a different person, and go the Russell Wilson way and keep your mouth shut and just go out there and play. And when you do talk, you talk in basically what everybody expects you to say, yes sirs, no sirs, and go Hawks, and he needs to go Redskins. So I think that's what he needs to do, and if not, I think he's had to get beat up this year and hurt again, and then probably get released by the end of the year.
Wow. Okay. You heard Big Doug's take on it. Well, let's go to the Lou. Art 2. Art, man, this is a tough situation for RG3 to be in. What you think?
It is a tough situation, you bet. But hey, I'm from Philly originally, and that's my Eagles there. My heart really cries for those Redskins. The quarterback controversy for them. You ask me, RG3.
That boy rough.
He is not going to be there. He's not going to make the end of the season, if you ask me. Your linemen, those are the guys. Those are the guys in the locker room that really know what's going on. Those are the guys down in the trenches. Those are the soft of the guys in the team. And if they don't have your back and they're not willing to stick up for you, that is a bad sign. There's some bad stuff going on in that locker room, and they don't support him. They say you hear stories about Tom Brady buying his linemen watches, the gold watches. I wouldn't be surprised if RG3 bought his linemen gold-plated framed pictures of himself. I mean, that's just not right. You ask me, it sounds like RG3 is RG me. And that is not good in the NFL.
No, you can't be Team Me and expect to win in a team sport. First Lady, you know about team sports. Is RG3 in for a long season of hurt and pain and agony?
Well, I mean, he is in for a long season of it. I don't think it's because they don't like him. I mean, let's face it. First of all, every quarterback in the NFL knows a way to a successful career. I mean, they have to have camaraderie with their offensive line. As Art was mentioning, they buy watches and they do all that, take them out to dinner. I mean, the thing about RG3, he probably needs to take his offensive line to get them Subway sandwiches, because they are pretty much, that's all they're worth. I mean, and it's not because they don't like him. I think it's ridiculous to think that they're not playing hard. It's because they dislike RG3. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. I think because, all of these offensive linemen and NFL players are very competitive and they want to win. I just don't think they're good enough. That's the problem with the Washington offensive line. They're not good enough. Now, if you tell me that RG3 is knocked down several times and they don't help to pick him up, well, yeah, now that's probably something because they don't like him. But for them not to play hard for him, nah, I don't believe that. And this whole RG3 saga is really becoming boring each week. I mean, I'm really so tired of RG3. I mean, it is a known fact that he is not well liked by the team, and he needs to escape Washington, D.C. I don't know if he should fake an injury or not because he always is injured, so he really doesn't need to fake anything, but he needs to ask to be traded. That's the bottom line. RG3 needs to get out of Washington, D.C. He needs a new start, and again, everybody's tired of this RG3 situation, and it really needs to get out of D.C. He and the Washington Redskins, they need a quickie divorce before it really gets ugly.
Wow, that's spoken from somebody from New Jersey. I tell you, get a protection plan going on. But hey, RG3, we're gonna be checking on you, man. We're gonna be seeing if your linemen like you. We're gonna be seeing if you're gonna get hurt. And since Artist from Philly, we're going to make sure he gets that small violin whenever RG3 is crying, saying, hey, all I got is a 6-inch Subway sandwich for all 5 of y'all.
I hear it playing, Dizzy. I hear it playing already.
All right. Well, First Lady, please take us to our break.
The first 2 listeners to email us or send a shout-out why the boxers mentioned are grouped together will receive a $25 gift card from our friends at sportsacademy.com and an additional $25 gift card from our partners at NFLshop.com. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Angelique on the first part of Shoutout.
Freeman's Divine.
Let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough? I bet you'd love more, right? Well, AdamandEve.com wants to give you more with 10 free gifts. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, a specially selected toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. So what do you have to do to get your 10 free gifts? It's not hard. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code FREE61 at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts. Go check out AdamandEve.com today. Select one item and get 10 free gifts, including free shipping, when you enter offer code FREE61. That's FREE61 at AdamandEve.com.
The music flows, and from around the globe, get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Angelique.
On Shoutout, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. This morning, we have Angelique out of Los Angeles with the title track from her album, Dance Now. DJ, let's hear her title album, Dance Now.
If you want to get down like Brother James Brown, right across the floor, what you waiting for? Drop down on your knees, begging, please, please, please.
All right. That was a abrupt ending to a song. That was Dance Now by Angelique. So let's go to the panelists. Big Doug, what did you think of Dance Now?
Well, I liked the artist's name. I liked her voice, nice and strong, but I hated the music, so I'm going to mute it. Just didn't do anything for me.
All right. Art?
Oh, First Lady, shout out, most definitely. Any song that starts with the line, if you want to get down like Brother James Brown, is a shout out in my book. That had me at hello.
All right. That was a catchy line there for you, Art. Okay, that definitely got your attention. DizzieMac. I know the Shimmy Shake girls are over there jamming to Dance Now. They're so used to dancing all the time with you. What's going on?
Oh,
what did you think of
man.
that?
First Lady, they were dancing, jamming. They even threw a boa around Big Doug's neck and had him over there dancing. We're gonna give it a shout out because again, it kind of took me back to the good old days of hanging out in Miami, Florida during the disco days of the early '80s.
The early '80s, flashback. Ronnie B, did you get a flashback with Dance Now? What do you think of Angelique?
I feel like that's my new wake up exercise track. If that don't get your juices flowing, just dig a hole and crawl in. I'm shouting it out. That's a nice little, get the juices flowing in the morning too. I mean, I'm sitting up, my cat started jumping around. Shout out.
Shouted it out. I'm gonna give it a shout out too. It was kind of the music. I understand what Doug was saying. The music wasn't that sophisticated, but it did have a nice little beat. I mean, the production I think was not the best, but as far as the beat, I thought it was okay, and her singing was fine. So I'm gonna shout it out. I'm definitely gonna shout Angelique out. If you would like to hear more from Angelique, check her out at angeliquemusic.com, and she spells Angelique, ANGELIQUE, music.com. On part 2 of Shout Out, we'll have a performance from BeX. Is that the sound of my favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
Time for Flip It. Hey. Now, Flip is where our host offender.
That's the part where I said take a pause. All right. Either way, we'll figure it out. Time for Flip It, where our host defends a point and then flips the script to defend the opposing view. This week, there was a bit of an uproar over a video showing Chris Carter telling rookies at the NFL Rookie Symposium they should have a fall guide when hanging out with their crew if something goes down. Oddly, Warren Sapp, who wishes he had a fall guy, was there seemingly agreeing. I saw him shaking his head. We asked the panel to defend politicians. You heard Scooter Libby. Other famous people, they kind of do this all the time. Good advice. We're going to start with DizzieMac, defend.
Wow. I tell you, this is good advice. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Let's just keep it real. Let's kick the ballistics, G. Somebody has to take the fall. It's not going to be you, $1 million athlete. Because you're going to be doing something that you had no business doing. So, yeah, you're going to have a fall guy. Turtle, Pookie, whoever it is, going to have to understand. They've already spent time in jail, so this is not going to be anything different for them. So they're going to have to just take the fall. They're going to have to take the weed charge. They're going to have to take the gun charge. They're going to have to take all the charge, the rape charge. They're going to have to take it. Good advice, Chris Carter. He's just keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Art Chou, defend.
Absolutely keeping it real. Like, that's reality. You may not like the way it sounds, but that's reality. That's strength in numbers. That's why you have a group out there, and it's you're taking care of what got you there, and you have to sacrifice for the greater good. Shoot, it works even at the highest levels of the country. Look at the president and the Secret Service, right? Secret Service is there, always around them. They're there to take a bullet for the greater good, sacrifice themselves because they're part of the group, part of the team. That's all it is. Strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers. Big Doug. Homie, you got to take this.
Well, I think it's great real world advice. If you got an entourage around you and you got a rookie coming in, I think you're pretty much going to get that talk that you're going to protect my butt here. If we get in trouble, you're going to take the fall because you're just joined. You're the lowest man on the totem pole, and you're going to have to take the gun charge or whatever other charge you're going to have out there. So you're going to have to do that. You're going to be part of my entourage. Now, if you hang on for a year, then that's going to responsibility is going to shift to somebody else. So I think it's great real world advice, and I'm assuming Chris Carter knows that. I'm pretty sure Warren Sapp knows that. And let's be honest, this was on that website for over a year, and nobody noticed, and nobody took it badly until somebody finally noticed it who wanted to stir up something in this world of stir-ups that we have going in the NFL and the NBA and all those type of things. So it was on there for a year. Nobody thought it was really bad advice, or they had said something much sooner. So it's very good advice, and I think Chris Carter hit it right on the head.
Hey. Mafiosos do it. Corporate leaders do it.
Yeah.
First lady, defend. You need a fall guy. Michael Vick, wish you'd done it.
Chris Carter said it, and he was correct. Every player needs a fall guy. Famous people and politicians, they call Olivia Pope to fix it for them. She finds a fall guy. R. Kelly used his brother. Barry Bonds used Greg Anderson. And Shine was Puffy's fall guy. If we're all being honest with ourselves, this is good, sound, practical advice. Athletes need to remind their entourage that they're not only responsible for protecting themselves, they're responsible for protecting their famous athlete as well. Yeah. Let's not pretend. If we're not above this, if we were in this situation, we probably would do it ourselves. This is simply real talk from players who understand what it's like to be there. Chris Carter knows what he's talking about.
All right, you've heard the defense on both sides. Well, you've heard the defense on one side. It's pretty strong, but this is flip it. We asked the panel to defend. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. Bad advice. DizzieMac, defend.
What the hell are you talking about and thinking about, Chris Carter? Now, here it is. You're going to have somebody take the fall, and the athlete's still going to go to jail, and the fool that he had take the fall going to go in there with him. I mean, that's the prosecution's going to get 2 for 1. They're going to take 2 of them away, and then everybody else is associated with covering up and lying, perjury, all that kind of good stuff is going to be, jumping off. So let's just look at it for what it is. Don't give these young people any more to think about or anything else that they need to be lying about. They already, trying to remember a play, trying to remember, hey, I'm not in the hood no more, putting down the blunts, putting down the cocaine. Hey, here it is, no means no. Putting the young lady down. Hey, just say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Instead of just looking at that as an opportunity that she bat her eyes to do something that they shouldn't be doing. No. Hey, if I got an entourage around me, it's to uplift them, not to get them in trouble. Hey, they done already done that. They done already been through that. Why would I want to put their lives at risk for something that they didn't do, for something I was dumb doing? Doesn't make any sense, man. Don't tell these young people that. Bad advice. Slap them on the wrist. Or, better yet, slap them upside the back of the head. Get some sense.
Old school advice. All right, Doug. Defend.
Well, this is easy to defend. Chris Carter, I lost actually some respect for him. He's one of the ones I actually really like to listen to when he's on Mike and the Morning, or he's on some of the other shows. I always thought he's had really good character, and I think this is bad advice. Basically, let's be honest. If the guy's facing a gun charge, he's going to spend 10 years in prison. He's not going to do that. He's going to flip on you. So he's going to turn around and tell the truth and end up putting whatever athlete into real bad shape, because he's going to be testifying against him when they get to court. So I think that's really bad advice. He should have been talking about, good character. If you are going to go out and party and potentially get in trouble, take yourself somewhere, go to Las Vegas, go to Hawaii, go somewhere that's going to be a little bit out of sight and mind, but you should be straightening up now. You're a professional. You're a professional athlete, and that's got a lot of responsibility to it. So that's the word that he needs to be sending out there, whether you like it or not. Charles Barkley, you are a role model, one way or the other. So I think it's really bad advice. It's really potentially putting themselves at higher risk, because they're going to try it and they're going to end up in jail too, with that guy, and they're probably going to have more time than the guy who flipped on them. So I think it's really bad advice, and it's just something you don't need to be talking about. And I think Chris Carter has lost a lot of respect from a lot of people.
Well, you heard the defense from Doug, but we want to hear the defense from Art. All I got to say is Watergate, O.J. Simpson, and Benghazi. Art, defend.
I'm with Chris Carter. I love him, man. He's one of my old Eagles guys. As Buddy says, all he does is catch touchdown passes. But you got to be kidding me. So you're standing in front of the rookie symposium in your Hall of Fame blazer when you're supposed to be telling these kids how to take responsibility and act like a professional athlete so they can have long careers, and you're giving them this advice? Do the words obstructing justice mean anything to you? I mean, it's just crazy. And I want to give him a flyer for just a kind of temporary insanity because I like him so much. It's just crazy. And the other thing is that, hey, and nowadays you got to own up to what's going on, because nowadays cell phone cameras, social media, look, the truth is going to come out. It's going to be on YouTube before you can figure out whatever version of the truth is that you want to start talking about. So I don't know what I'm going to give Chris a pass on temporary insanity. It's temporary insanity on that one.
You say, I think somebody might have slipped a little something in his drink too. But we need to hear the defense from First Lady. Bad advice.
Well, Chris Carter always has temporary insanity because he's always saying something that's wrong. And first of all, as a child, you are taught to tell the truth. Unfortunately, people just do not tell the truth. They always try to cover up with lies. And as we indicate, covering it up is worse than crime. Ronnie B., you hit it on the head. That Watergate incident was probably one of the classic covers up in history. There was no evidence that Nixon was involved with the break-in. However, because the Republicans tried to cover it up, they had to have their president resign. And another one is Lance Armstrong. He spent 10 years smearing his personal friends and his professional friends, the people that helped him to win the championship, to cover up his steroid use. All he had to do was just admit that he used steroids. He just would have been another bicyclist that used steroids, and he could have gone on with his career and still have won all those all the bike tours that he won. So again, it's just always about the cover-up that's worse than the actual offense. And Chris Carter, again, that was just such bad advice to give up-and-coming NFL players. I mean, you're supposed to be a role model. What kind of role model are you giving somebody advice? And first of all, to have Chris Carter and Warren Sapp as role models, I'm just going to end it with that. No, they're not role models.
You have heard the defense. The panel was on fire. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2.
That's my girl.
I'm Boss Hogg, host of The Last Word. When I'm inside or outside of the studio, I have to make sure I wear the best, and that includes the best in eyewear. Ray-Ban eyewear has been worn by those seeking to go from myth to legend. Ray-Ban's selection of legendary styles dating back to 1937 have been worn by the famous, infamous, and everyone in between. Ray-Ban eyewear has stood the test of time. Many of today's top entertainers, athletes, and those who want to make a fashion statement choose from their vast array of styles designed to take you from myth to legendary. To find a store near you or to browse their wide selection, visit Ray-Ban at www.ray-ban.com. That's www.rayban.com. Take it from Boss Hogg. I say rush it when it comes to Ray-Ban. They are the last word when it comes to eyewear that will make your style legendary. Holla!
Welcome back. You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It is time for the funnies. DizzieMac, over to you with the funnies.
Thank you, First Lady. And we do indeed have a funny today. I know Big Doug and Art will like this one, and you're going to get a chuckle out of it too, First Lady. Police arrest man who posted videos of red light camera tampering. A Long Island man was arrested on criminal tampering charges after he recorded himself using a painter's pole to re-aim red light cameras. Stephen Ruth, 42, of Center Reach, posted videos on his Facebook page showing himself using a painter's pole to aim red light cameras at the sky rather than at the intersection. Wow. The painter's pole. Ruth was arrested Tuesday on 4 counts of criminal trespassing with sources. Ruth is believed to have used the method from his videos to re-aim 4 red light cameras in Suffolk County. Ruth says in one of his videos, okay, in order to do this successfully, you only need a pair of balls and a painter's extension rod. I'm going to show you how easy it is to take the power back. Bruce said in a Facebook post he knew he would be arrested, but he wanted to take a stand for the taxpayers who received tickets from the cameras. Wow.
Free Ruth. Free Ruth.
Hey.
Free Ruth. Free Ruth.
That's not taking one for the team. I knew
Free Ruth. Free Ruth.
Big Doug.
Power to the people. Power to the people.
Got the mic. The man has balls.
Yes, he does, and he might lose when he gets to jail.
Hey, he may. The county is no place to be if you don't have an extension pole or nothing to fight them off with.
Yep, this guy needs to, he needs to be part of Chris Carter's posse.
Hey. He needed somebody to take that one for him. When guys dirty, and water is splashing, on us all today, it must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for flipping.
Time for flipping, where hosts defend the point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. MVP. Bryce Harper has the stats to be the National League MVP. But, and this is a big but, what if the Nationals don't make the playoffs? Panel defend. If you got the stats, it's not your fault the team didn't make it. He still deserves the MVP. Chou defend.
I pulled up MLB stat page, and the MLB stat page looks like the Bryce Harper stat page. Leading the league in batting. First, number one, 334 average. Leading the league, not just the National League, the whole major leagues in slugging. Leading the whole league in on-base percentage. Seventh in home runs. The dude is on fire. He is. You cannot be a better offensive player than what he's been doing this year. Plus, he's got the best hair in the league. So it's not his fault that he can't pitch. He can't get up there and pitch and hit. That's not his problem. If the award is to the value of your team, there is nobody in this league that's meant more to his team than Bryce Harper. It's not his problem that the pitchers can't get the ball over the plate. So MVP, absolutely.
MVP, absolutely, huh? All righty. DizzieMac, defend.
Bryce Harper is having a hell of a year. I'm talking doing it all. But this is to be expected. This was coming. This was destined to happen. He was destined to be in this position as the best player since a youngster. It's not his fault that he can't pitch too. It's not his fault that Strasburg is breaking down and they overpitched him and they blew his arm out. It's not his fault that, hey, he has to be a one-man wrecking crew because he's doing his job. He's showing that he is a five-tool player. He plays the game hard. He plays the game like Pete Rose used to. Hustling, fiery, always on point. I've seen Bryce Harper get thrown out of a game for arguing a ball, which was a ball, and he made sure the umpire knew he was wrong and needed a pair of glasses to go with it. He cussed out the ump and told him he was 20/40 in his vision, all in the same breath. But no, Bryce Harper has done everything you can do to put together an MVP season. He is showing it again. This is one of the brightest stars in the league. He's young, and look, for him to at least get 4 more MVPs before his career is over with, that's how good of a player he is, and that's how much of a star he has become in this short period of time. He is the Washington Nationals.
Hey, Doug, defend.
Well, I don't even think this is a Bryce Harper question. We have these arguments all the time in the NBA, in the NFL, in the Major League Baseball. That somebody has a great year, but because their team's not very good, they don't become the MVP. I think that's wrong in all sports. I think the best man, best woman, whoever is the best player in your league should be the MVP at the end of the year, regardless whether they make the playoffs or not. They can't necessarily help sometimes if they don't have the surroundings around them to get to the playoffs or win their league. So I think it should be the person who has the best year, regardless of if they're going to the playoffs or not. The playoffs are another whole thing. This is for a 162-game series for Bryce, a 162-game regular season. It's not for the playoffs or whatever else. This is for the regular season. Who was the best player? And there's no doubt Bryce Harper's the best player, but we've seen this again. We have this argument every year. Somebody on the winning team, who who wins the league or who gets to the playoffs and makes it, and somebody who probably deserved the award better on a lower level team, doesn't make it. And, we get all big arguments when we put a pitcher as the MVP. That really stirs up the pot all over the place. That pitcher can't be, but if the pitcher goes 20-2 and earned run average 1.5, probably nobody's a better player in the league than him that year. So I think the best person in the league should win MVP at the end of the year, regardless of where their team is at, and regardless of if somebody led the team to the playoffs and the stats are still better for this other guy, that guy should get it. So the best player in the league should be the MVP for the regular season. There's tons of awards in the playoffs and stuff for people who make the playoffs. So there's enough to go around. But the guy who's the best player in that league should win it every year.
All right, we heard the defense from Doug, but we have to hear the defense from the First Lady herself. Defense.
Unlike most sports, baseball is a very individualist. I can't even speak this morning because I'm so upset about this situation. It's about the individuals in the game. It's about league stats. Baseball is a stats-oriented game. It's not like at the NBA where it's about the team. You got 5 players playing, and you have to rely on the team. You have so many players in baseball that are pretty much individuals. So regardless of how the team is doing, Bryce Harper should be the MVP because he's leading the league in most categories. How can you not put him as the MVP? He is the best player in the regular season. What does pitcher have to do with Bryce Harper's stats? He's not a pitcher. He's the best player in the league. And this is the reason why he should be the MVP.
Well, you heard this week's defense, but that was flippant for this week. Woo! First Lady, you know what to do.
Well, we need to do the other part of flip it.
Oh, yeah. If you are the MVP, sometimes I read the script. Well, that flipper was so good, it was good to me. If you are the MVP, you get your team into the playoffs. No playoffs, no MVP. DizzieMac, defend.
If you can't get your team into the playoffs, we don't want to discuss you as an MVP candidate. We're only looking at those players who are getting their teams in the playoffs, getting it done, a.k.a. Andrew McCutchen, Pittsburgh. Clutch hit after clutch hit. He's up there in RBI. Doesn't hit the kind of homers that you would think because, he makes the most of driving in runs, crucial runs, late inning runs, winning runs. Bryce Harper, yeah, you got home runs, but hey, look at your RBIs. You're just basically hitting them with nobody on base, basically hitting them when it doesn't matter. Andrew McCutchen, hey, you look at that, that's an MVP type person. Clayton Kershaw, 14 strikeouts last night of the Cubs, shut them down. The Cubs were streaking like a missile going up to reach the moon, and he shut them down like they always say. Good pitching, sure, always shut out, good hitting. I'm telling you, you got them two leading the pack. And then I would even hate to even mention because he's been hurt. Giancarlo Stanton was hitting the ball out of the park almost every 8 at-bats until he got hurt. And he would have been up in the mix too. So no. If you can't get your team up in the mix, you can't get your team to the playoffs, we cannot consider you. So, hey, I got other people on my list as MVP. Bryce Harper, Smythe Harper. It doesn't matter. I'm looking at Andrew McCutchen. Even though he cut out his dreadlock, he's still being an MVP type player. Clayton Kershaw, hey, left-handed, that funky delivery. The Cubs were going up there with oak trees, and they couldn't hit the ball last night. Shut them down. Quieted them. Joe Madden was sitting over in the dugout looking like, hey, we can't do nothing. We might as well just go home, hit the showers, and come back tomorrow. So, no. Bryce Harper is not an MVP candidate because he can't even get his team out of the cellar.
All right, you heard the defense from DizzieMac. Let's hear the Big Doug. No playoffs, no MVP. Defend.
Well, I think being a leader, having leadership qualities is also part of being an MVP. And a lot of times that means taking that team on your back and going forward, or making players who aren't necessarily great players, better players. And all I can say, I think, about Bryce Harper is when they went into the Mets stadium to play, and they had a couple of games lead on the Mets, and the Mets went there and swept them. And we're talking about rookie pitchers, and we're talking about a team in the Nationals that was talked about to be in the World Series before the year started. They were actually the National League favorite to go to the World Series than most folks out there. So he most certainly hasn't been the leader that he needs to be. Most certainly he's a great stat person, but he's not been in the locker room apparently grabbing folks by the throat saying, get your butt in gear and go out there and play hard, or, we're not going to be in the playoffs. And right now they're going to be in the playoffs. So from a team that got off to a good start and was favorites for the World Series, they've fallen on hard times. You don't see I don't think you see a whole lot of leadership out there, and I think that's what's part of being the MVP. It's not just stats, but also being a leader on the field, being a leader in the locker room, having people respect you and going out there and playing hard because they know you're going to get in their face if they don't play hard. So I think that's part of it, and I don't think Bryce has shown that, and I think that's part of it. I think you look at leaders, like LeBron James in the NBA, taking them basically to the finals, and within a couple of games of winning the NBA, and they had nothing hardly left, but he put it on his back, and he did that, and that's what you're kind of looking for in the MVP. And he made a lot of very borderline players play halfway decent in the playoffs. So I think that's the type of leader that you're looking for in the MVP in whatever league you're playing in. I mean, Tom Brady makes the Patriots. Regardless of the deflate game, whatever else, he goes out there and plays hard, and he's yelling at his linemen if they don't block for him. If he gets sacked, the lineman's going to pay for it because he's going to be in their ear. And that guy's not going to give up another sack again. So I think that's the type of leadership that you're looking for, and I don't think in a lot of cases the folks who have the best staff aren't necessarily the best leaders. A lot of times they're looking out for themselves and going for home runs and going for hard, try to hit hard, strike out a bunch, and not moving the runners over when they don't get the home run. And that happens a lot more. Let's be honest, you got 600 at bats and you get 40 home runs. What have you done in those other at bats to move runners and do those type of things? So that's the type of person that you're looking for is a leader on the field who shows how to play baseball or any sport in the right way. And he's in the locker room, where the guy needs a pat on the butt or the guy needs somebody in his face, telling him that you need to get your butt in gear or, we're going to trade you or somebody's going to trade you. So I think that's the type of person that you really want to be the MVP for the league. Let's be honest. There's offensive player of the year, there's defensive player of the year, there's Cy Young winner, there's a rookie of the year, there's the comeback player of the year. There's plenty of awards to give those folks who's got the stats but don't have the leadership, and I think leadership is a major part of being the most valuable player in the league.
All right, we heard the defense from Doug, leadership. But a man who knows a little bit about leadership in the locker room, but also knows, hey, no playoff, no MVP. Hard. Defend.
MVP, I believe that V stands for valuable. So how valuable can you be if your team is right around 500? How valuable can you be for a team that everybody had picked to run away with the National League going into the season? Everyone agreed was one of the most talented teams going into the season, and they have completely underachieved for the season so far, and basically are starting to mail it in. They've gone in the tank. How valuable can you be? Look, Bryce Harper's he's a great talent. He had a great year. He's raised the Nats probably a level or two if he wasn't there. Unfortunately for him, he's raised them from completely suck to extremely average this year. So to me, valuable is not a guy that raises a team that should be a few games in first place right now, getting ready for the playoffs, and now is worrying about what's going to happen for next year. There is no most valuable player that comes out of that Nats team this year. No way. And I think if you ask them in their hearts, they would agree. They think they should have been a lot better this year. No MVP in Washington.
Okay, we heard the defense from Art. No MVP in Washington. First Lady, defend.
If you are MVP, you are the most valuable player, and the most valuable player is the leader of a team that should be striving for the playoff. Bryce may have all the stats in the world, but he has not placed the Nationals on his back. He has failed to show he is in charge of this team. Bryce Harper is the Carmelo Anthony of the baseball. Has all the stats, but cannot win the big games. Every year, the Nationals are almost knocking at the door, but he has never gotten over the hump. Sorry, he may be the MVP in Washington because if you compare him to RG3, anybody could be the MVP.
Preach, First Lady. All right, you heard the defense from the First Lady and the panel. And this time, for real, First Lady, take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we'll have a performance from BeX on Shout Out. Please stay tuned.
Preach.
Oh, beautiful, just beautiful. Oh, how adorable is that? Edible Arrangements has a fresh fruit bouquet to make any occasion special. Our bouquets are made with fresh premium fruit, arranged in a variety of stunning displays. Make every occasion special with Edible Arrangements. Guys, the baby's over here. Oh, all right. Okay, yes.
And don't even think about touching my edible arrangements.
For pickup or delivery nationwide, call 877-DO-FRUIT, 877-DO-FRUIT, or go to ediblearrangement.com. That's ediblearrangement.com. Yeah.
Oh, my. What a nice looking baby you got there.
Make all your special moments. Moments with Edible Arrangements.
You are listening to Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks and the finale. First say, the music flows from around the globe. You get a shout out from you and us, the panel. We want to know what you got lined up for us.
All right, we have a performance from BeX out of Sudbury, Ontario, and the title track from her album is Good for Nothing, Funky Summer. All right, DJ, let's hear Good for Nothing, Funky Summer.
There's rumors flying like daggers, cutting me straight through to my heart. I thought that love really matters, but you just went and tore us apart. So keep your lies and your secrets, 'cause I don't really need them. I just wanna be by myself. Who do you think you were fooling? So turn around, I'm walking out. You're the one who's missing out. Hey, what you take me for? Get out that door. I thought that you were good for something. Now that you've been caught, your time is up. You're just as good for nothing. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, ooh.
All right. That was BeX. Good for nothing, funky summer. All right, let's go to the panel. Art, is that a good for nothing song? What did you think of BeX?
First lady, I right in the middle of that song, I ran and got out my rayon shirt, my leisure suit, my gold chains. I'm looking for my mirror ball. Who says disco was dead? That I had flashbacks there. I see BeX up there in the list of disco queens coming back. The shades of Donna Summer, you know, to get the Gloria Gaynor. I got it. I'm flashing back, and I got to give it a shout out.
All right, shouting it out. DizzieMac, what did you think of BeX?
Oh, man, BeX, hey, it brought back that same vibe. Hey, I was right there with Art with the rayon shirt, the leisure suit. Hey, I bought the yellow one out, you know, nice and pastel, you know. But hey, we shouting that one out. We like that. We like that. Shimmy Shake Girls were shimmy and shaking, and they put another bow around Doug's neck. All
right, Big Doug.
Well, I break my streak of 5 straight mutes, and I'm going to shout it out. Just like what everybody else said, I was having visions of Donna Summer rolling through my head. So, great music. I liked her voice. There was nothing. I was very impressed.
All right, great. Doug finally gave somebody a shout out. All right. Ronnie B, what did you think of BeX?
I will survive. I'm going to give BeX a shout out. Nice rhythm, nice voice. And I didn't have the flashback to the leisure suit days, but I liked it.
Okay. I'm going to shout it out, too. I mean, everybody had the same type of comments about her and the flashback. Actually, I almost thought she sounded a little bit like the first artist, Angelique. I thought it was Angelique in disguise, so we're coming back with another name as BeX. Both of them had the discotheque kind of vibe, but I did like that song. Very good, very good. So, you know, Angelique, BeX, if you like what you heard from BeX, you can hit her up on her website. And I'm sorry, I kind of misplaced her website. Okay. You can hit her up at officialbex.com. officialbex.com. Sorry about that, BeX. If you like what you heard or have any comments, you can send your emails and tracks to pennies@oldgrumpyradio.com. It's time for the picks. It's time to see who will be our hardball champ. Well, we have the results so far from last week. I had 21 points and Joe had 21 points. Not 21, excuse me. I'm having a hard time seeing today. I had 2,100 points. Joe had 2,100 points. DizzieMac and Big Doug both had 1,000 points. As far as the overall lead, I'm leading with 4,700 points. Joe has 4,200 points. Big Doug has 2,400 points. DizzieMac at 2,100 points. Al, 400 points. Len, 400 points. Art, 300 points. Headbanger at 300 points. And Q at 300 points. So let's get to this week's picks. At the end of our week, San Diego would overtake the Diamondbacks. 500 points for the correct answer, minus 600 for the incorrect. DizzieMac, I'll start with you. San Diego will overtake the Diamondbacks. Calling DizzieMac. All right.
Yes, they will. They will overtake the Diamondbacks. I was over there with the Shimmy Shake Girls. They were, making sure that they got enough.
What were you doing over there with the Shimmy Shake Girls, DizzieMac?
Hey,
you trying to get some advice from them?
Yeah, they were asking me, should they get a, should they have a crash test dummy, in case they go out and they need to have somebody, one of them may have to be, arrested. So they were just making sure that, hey, we just getting that straight.
All right. So you said yes? San Diego will overtake the Diamondbacks?
Yes, San
Okay.
Diego. The Padres.
All right, Big Doug.
I'm actually going to go with Arizona.
So you say no, they will not overtake the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
Ronnie B, what's Joe's response?
San Diego will not overtake the Diamondbacks.
All right. And Art?
I agree. They will not. They are coming up against the juggernaut of my Philadelphia Phillies, trying to get out of the cellar. No way. Can't get past them.
No way. I'm going to say they will overtake the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're only a game out, so it's possible. All right, Phillies will overtake Miami. 400 for the correct answer, minus 400 for incorrect. Ronnie B, what's Joe's response?
The Phillies will overtake Miami.
DizzieMac?
The Phillies will not overtake Miami. Martin Power.
Big Doug?
I'm going to go with the Phillies will overtake.
And Art?
I'm a believer. Put me in for the Phillies.
You just talked about the Phillies. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm going to say the Phillies will overtake the Marlins. They're only a game back, and the Marlins are really a dysfunctional organization right now. All right, the Reds will sneak past the Brewers. 500 for the correct answer, minus 700 for the incorrect answer. I'm going to say Cincinnati will not overtake the Brewers. Big Doug.
The Reds are 1-9 in their last 10. I think they're just basically packing it in for the rest of the year. I'm going to say they're not going to overtake the Brewers.
Art.
I'm with Doug. They're starting to make their vacation plans already. They're nailing it in. No way. Milwaukee all the way.
Milwaukee all the way. All right, DizzieMac.
The Reds will not sneak past the Brewers because they have mailed it in. As a matter of fact, they have been mailed it in.
All right, they mailed it in. All right, Ronnie B for Joe.
I saw a couple of them booking flights to Aruba. No way, Jose.
No way. All right. Finally, White Sox will overtake the Tigers. The White Sox will overtake the Tigers. DizzieMac.
And you know it, man.
So
yes, the White Sox will overtake. They will overtake it. Man, the White Sox are surging at this point.
Well, actually, I think we should change that. The producers, I think, got that wrong. Detroit is actually under the White Sox now. So I think we need to flip that question. And I'm going to flip it and say Detroit will overtake the White Sox. So let me flip it.
No.
So DizzieMac.
No, Detroit will not overtake the White Sox. Have you seen Detroit? Have you seen Detroit play?
Okay. Detroit will okay, you said no. All right. Doug, Detroit will overtake the White Sox.
I don't think so. White Sox are playing the Mariners. The Mariners won last night, but the Mariners are not very good either. So I'm going to go with the White Sox. They're going to keep their lead. Detroit will not overtake the White Sox.
Roddy B for Joe. Detroit will overtake the White Sox.
No way, Jose. White Sox stay ahead of them.
White Sox stay ahead of them. Art?
I got to go with the Tigers. I think their talent, it's got to bubble up. It's got to. You see signs of life in Verlander recently. It's got to come to the surface. Give me Detroit.
And I agree with you. I think Detroit, they've been in the basement for a long time. It's time for them to get out that central basement, and I think they will overtake Chicago White Sox.
What?
Yeah. What? I know you're a Chicago fan, DizzieMac, but Detroit got to make a little comeback. So we'll see how we did next how we did next week. Okay. We didn't miss the passing of NBA great Chocolate Thunder Darryl Dawkins, who was the first NBA player to be drafted out of high school. Our condolences to his family and all those who loved the big fella. But before we go, it's time to find out what we missed this week. All right. DizzieMac, what did you miss?
This week I missed Justin Verlander almost pitching a no-no. He came within, one out, getting a no-hitter. So, close but no cigar.
Okay. Art, what did you miss?
Well, first I want to give a shout-out to Chocolate Thunder, because they're growing up in Philly those days. Dawkins, Lloyd Freed, Doug Collins, Jordan Big Mac McGinnis, and those were the days. And I missed that, and I missed Double D. But what I missed was everybody was looking to see if Tiger Woods going into the lead for the first with the weekend with the lead for the first time, I don't know, since Jimmy Carter was president, it seems like, this past weekend. And everybody seemed to lose, and everyone's talking about Jordan Spieth trying to get the Grand Slam. And what happened at the end of that weekend? Davis Love III, at the age of 51, became the third oldest winner on the PGA Tour. A guy who, when his first win, 1987, his first win was 6 years before Jordan Spieth was even born. And so here you got a guy that should be playing out on the senior tour with all the guys with the big bellies, and here he snuck in a win, and nobody seems to talk about it. So that's what I'd like to talk about that we missed this week. Davis, we're up.
And Art, I'm with you on Darryl Dawkins. I grew up in South Jersey, so we saw a lot of Darryl Dawkins. And
those are the days.
13. All right, Doug, what did you miss?
Well, I'm going to say a little bit about Darryl Dawkins, too. He was the first guy who ever made me go, oh, my God, when he started smashing those backboards. And just remember how many people ever change that they're playing with. I mean, we have firm rims back then. After Darryl got done with his career, or even during his career, they started having flexible backboards and flexible rims that could drop down when somebody slammed too hard. So the man changed the game of basketball, or at least how they play with those backboards and things. But what I've missed, and the whole city of Seattle still missing, is Cam Chancellor Sutton showed up here. He's the lone holdout in the whole NFL, and if the Seahawks lose tonight in the even preseason game, I think it's going to get really stressed next week here if Cam doesn't show up. So if the Seahawks don't perform really well, or the secondary, doesn't do really well in this game tonight, with the third game of the exhibition season, is the most important one, and there's going to be a lot of panic almost in the city of Seattle.
All right, Roddy B, what did you miss?
I missed Ahmad Brooks being indicted on misdemeanor sex charges. And a word of advice to you youngins out there, no means no, and don't punk your own self out. Don't worry about the fall guy, just don't punk your own self out. That's all I missed.
That's all you missed. All right. Well, it's really been a sad sports week, because there was another passing. We didn't miss this for the NHL fans. Legendary Islanders coach Al Harbour passed away at age 82, and our condolences goes out to his family. I mean, from those famous Islanders teams that won championships and the Stanley Cup. So we definitely offer our condolences. This has been Cheryl Smith and the crew, and you have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports.
Chocolate Thunder. R.I.P.